It's got all the GRNs in there, so basically we can see everything that's happened. So if we go to the GRN and click the plus button, it then shows the bill. Now I'm going to create a batch type credit really. So what we can do is go into new debit memo or credit note, and we're going to raise it for a UK supplier. And this works in exactly the same way. So we can do £10 plus whatever VAT is on there. It's the discounted VAT again because of the discount on there. I'm just going to save and close on that one. Next thing is a supply payment. So I can create a single supply payment against a supplier. So I'll choose the UK supplier, and I'm going to enter £100 in a payment. The screen looks like a check, and basically I can, in here I can put a check reference in there, so 001, or we've got a little plus button here that will get the next sequential number from the bank account. Okay, so I'll save it, and it gets a unique pay reference at the top. Then go to the allocate tab, very similar to what we did in the customer ledger. We can then allocate that. It automatically ticks the payment that I've just created, can then allocate that to a transaction. So I'm going to allocate that to my £100 opening balance. And save that. Tells me there was no gain or loss. Okay, I'm now going to go and make a couple of changes to some items for the next part. So I'm going to go into the bullets item and select the US supplier on the costing tab. So I'm going to delete all that's in there, and I'm just going to select my US supplier, and I'm going to amend the supplier cost price to $3. And save my changes. I'm going to then go and amend the handgun item, and I'm going to do a similar thing, but this time I want the UK supplier on there, which is already there, so I'll just delete the other two rows. Amend the supplier cost price to £8. Save and close, and I'm going to go back into customer and just switch credit approval off. Okay, I'm now going to create a sales order while I'm in the customer module for a toy customer UK. $10 bullets. $10 handguns. And 10 holsters. And for each of them I'm going to tick the drop ship box on the sales order. So we're not going to have these items come straight into our warehouse and we'll ship them. The supplier is going to ship directly to our customer. Okay, so I'm going to save that sales order. And from here I could actually create the drop ship order, but I'm going to do something I'm going to do it in a slightly different way. I'm going to go back into supplier and go into create drop shipments. and my 3 items appear that I've just put onto that sales order, and the default supplier that I've got set up in them is in the list, so it's already appearing. I could also change the supplier in here if I wanted to drop down box, and I can select other suppliers. I can also amend the actual prices, etc. on here, but these are defaulting from them special prices I put on the supplier record. If I now create the dropship orders, it tells me 2 orders have been created, and that's because we've got 2 different suppliers on there. So it's creating 1 purchase order for one and 1 for the other. So if I say yes to view them, I can see that the purchase order has a reference of it to say it's a dropship, and it says what sales order that purchase order's come from. So there's my one for a US supplier, there's my one for a UK supplier with the 2 items on there. I'm going to go and create another sales order now. For a toy customer for 1,000 bullets. Thousand handguns, and 1,000 holsters. Just going to save and close on that sales order. Now I'm going to go back into Supplier again and run the auto-generate purchase order routine. So we're just going to run it using sales trends, and it's going to look at trends for the last 1 month. So it's looking at invoices basically over the last month to see how many of these items we've sold, which it'll then work out how many we need. So if I go next, main warehouse, it's got all my suppliers in there, which I'll leave ticked, and go next and finish. What that does is it shows me what items I need to order. So it's basically got my handguns and my bullets on that screen, and it's saying it needs to order just over 11,000 of the handguns and just over 1,000 of the bullets. But if I double click on any of these figures, it'll bring up the calculation screen, which shows me how it actually got to them figures. So you can see exactly how it came up with the figure, so you're not wondering, well, that doesn't look right to me, I wonder how it got there. Okay, so if I tick the 2 items, as long as they've got a supplier against them, which these have, it's happy, otherwise I'd have to specify a supplier, and I'm going to click OK. And this will create the orders. Now again, it's created the 2 orders, and I'll have a quick view of them. So there's my 1 for 1 supplier, and there's my other one. Okay, now what I'm going to do is create a GRN for my French supplier, so not from the purchase order, but actually directly for a supplier this time, and it's going to be my French supplier, and it's going to be for 10 bullets and 10 handguns. And I'm going to save and close on my GRN. And now if I go into the